Jack. All right. You got this stuff?
Yeah. All cleaned and oiled.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's get it on.
Who are these guys?
It's my theme music. Every good hero should have some.
Hot damn, it's time to get down to the jam. It's time to get down, it's time to get down, it's time to get down to the jam. I said it's time to get down to the knowledge, gonna get on down with the know. On the morning coffee show, on morning coffee with Keith, here on Pop Culture Minefield.
Excuse me, can I get a cup of coffee? Black?
Can't you see we talking?
White?
Good morning, everyone. First of all, let me just apologize for all the technical delays. You know, I'm not as computer savvy as I'd like to think that I am sometimes, and I'm I'm an idiot. So, I just want to say I'm happy to find myself amongst all of you again and able to have a little fun. How are you doing, Martin?
Oh, I'm doing fine and boomering myself. Oh my God, 5 minutes before the show, I had to restart the computer.
Well, you know.
There are days like this.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, Joe.
Joe's atmosphere. Hey. Hopefully you'll have a good time with today's subject, Joe. You know, those that know me, especially since I've been doing the show, know that I've always been a big comic book guy, and I've been enough of a comic book guy over the years to see a lot of things come and go, and to see a lot of different people come into the industry, a lot of different ideas, enough to know that there is definitely a lot to see outside of the influence of DC and Marvel. Although, let me also say this. Both DC and Marvel have gone out and purchased a lot of smaller indie properties over the years. And so there's a lot that, as an example, there's a lot more that Disney picked up in buying Marvel than just the Marvel characters. Technically, they also have the rights to the Men in Black comics, which is the basis of the films. So the mouse has Men in Black, basically. That was not a Marvel comic. It was actually based on a comic that had been published and out of print for a while before Marvel came along and bought the company and were able to acquire the rights to the comic. That's the reason why they're listed on the credits of the first Men in Black movie, even though they don't list the complete credits. I mean, it gives the impression that it's Marvel that came up with it, and they didn't. They bought the rights to it, the company that was responsible for the comic. DC has also been known to buy a lot of smaller publishers and acquire characters that way. Captain Marvel didn't originally start out as a DC property, as an example. Neither was Captain Atom nor Blue Beetle. Real Popcorn Geek Malibu. See, we comic book fans need to stick together, because I'm telling you right now, I don't know if a lot of you have figured this out yet, but for many, many years, one of the things that Hollywood was really known for was, when it came to making movies, they their lifeblood are usually the scripts that they have. People get a chance to read, and based on how it reads, how a script reads, that'll dictate whether or not a particular script can move forward in development. And one of the things that I've had to wrap my head around over these last few years, and again, I personally attribute this to the increasing influence of corporate business people, is that nobody's really reading scripts. Nobody's really reading anymore. To me, that is the majority of what has gone sideways. Not just in comic book films, but in films in general. If nobody's reading scripts, except for the people who are low on the totem pole, that explains a lot. And I'm looking at a lot of what's been going on, especially a lot of the problems with films like Captain Falcon America 4 and various other films. And a certain amount of the problems they're having comes down to the fact that nobody really reads. Nobody reads. Whether you're talking the MCU, especially a lot of the DC stuff from about 15 years ago, definitely, I think a majority of the Fox problems with adapting a lot of comics is they weren't reading. And one would think that, to read would yield a certain bit of understanding of who these characters really, what these properties are, what the intent was of the people who created these characters and these IPs. I think the best example is Star Trek. What has happened to Star Trek? Because you now have an entire IP being run by people who take pleasure in not having read or been a fan of the original Star Trek IP, which makes it easier for them to basically do what they've done to it. So, Joe says, I have bought a few Scout comics, recommend The Shepherd and Stabbity Bunny. That's what I love about it. When it comes to particular comics and IP, oh, good morning, Penny. The lovely Penny. It's always good to see you. I just think that a lot of people come up with a lot of really cool ideas. And so, in thinking, I know that there are a lot of producers now who are celebrating the fact that it would seem that we are nearing the end of the dominance of comic book films. And the sad fact is, I think we've barely scratched the surface of what's out there. And what little we've gotten, for the most part, are really just bad adaptations of the original books. A lot of you out there who probably didn't start out as comic book fans, who only know films and then have gone to your favorite comic book store to pick up comic books that technically should be the inspirations for a lot of the movies that you enjoy, only to find out that the comics are really different. Some have recoiled in horror from actually reading a lot of the comics because, and I'm looking right at you, Marvel. While Marvel was making all that money at the box office, during that same period of time, their comics were just not good overall. What they were doing to these characters, and it wasn't just Marvel. I mean, DC wasn't exactly hitting it out of the park either. You know, to me, what has happened to Marvel is even worse than anything that you could say about DC, because they were making all this money and they never, ever had the benefit of being able to show what they could truly do with these characters and to invite people into the world of comics to enjoy the character that they were following or interested in, and to also bring them into the rest of the world of Marvel. One can at least say that when Superman the movie by Richard Donner came out, Superman comics were still Superman comics. You could still go to a comic book shop or go to your grocery store or any other place and pick up a comic and enjoy it. You could have walked right out of the movie theater and picked up an issue of Superman and enjoyed it. Same thing in '89 with Batman. But as time has gone on, it just seems like there are all these excuses as to why we are getting such really bad adaptations of a lot of what these comics are about. Here we go. Real Popcorn Geek says, it may sound sacrilegious, but DC and Marvel need to expand beyond the superhero genre in order to survive, aside from piss poor leadership, that is. I agree with you. I think they should go back to what they were doing years ago. Originally, they had other things they were publishing. This is what I think makes having James Gunn run everything such, why it is such a big thing. Because there is a lot of different properties and comics that DC has published over the decades. There are a lot of characters within the DC property, and not all of them are superhero characters. When you look at a lot of the war comics that they published, I've talked about some of these before. Sergeant Rock being probably their biggest in that genre. But then you also get a lot of their Western comics. You get fantasy comics. You have definitely a lot of their supernatural, magical comics, but also science fiction comics. There are all these different genres that have all these different characters connected. Captain Comet being the big name coming out of the science fiction end of DC Comics. A character that I wouldn't mind seeing more of. There is a whole just galactic entity portion to DC Comics that, for the most part, aside from the animated films, they've never really touched in live action as far as film and television, with the exception of the series Krypton. And Krypton had a dipped its toe in that a little bit. the actor that has been hired to play Jon Stewart in James Gunn's DCU is one of the actors from the television series Krypton, which I actually thought was really good. Almighty Comer.
Yeah, don't say it. Just don't say it.
Well, we'll just call you Almighty then.
Yes, that's our good friend Black Ass with a new name.
Yeah. Or
I-
AC.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of the Constantine series. I thought that Lucifer was a good twist on the comic book version of the character. Personally, I would have liked to have seen one that stuck closer to the way the character was in the comics, but I didn't mind the show they had. And which is the other thing. I think DC has had more successful, and by successful, let me just say shows that at least made it past episode 2 or 3. I'm not saying that they were, able to last beyond the season, but I think DC's had more success in animation and in television than Marvel has. And I'm a big believer that both Marvel and DC should be tapping into all the other genre that they have. Real popcorn geek, we need horror, sci-fi, sword and sorcery genre comics, hell, even romance comics. Also, quick forcing them together into a shared universe. Well, that's the thing. At least with DC and with Marvel, some of that stuff's already happened. They have characters that for a long time weren't used. As you get into the 1970s, definitely into the 1980s, a lot of that stuff started to cross over. So it all basically is a kind of shared universe. Although I agree with you, Real Popcorn Geek. I wouldn't mind seeing them go back to just keeping everything separate when it comes to a lot of the other non-superhero stuff that they are doing. Look, I know it sounds sacrilegious to say, but both DC and Marvel found success doing things their own way.
Yep.
The Marvel zombie heads who would crucify the DC films for not using the Marvel formula, the MCU formula, need to understand that different films, different ideas, different IPs, they need to be handled in a different way. And what James Gunn is doing with Superman is exactly that. It's just a different way of doing something that the MCU did differently. The MCU wanted to take 3 films to tell a story and pump up a character, and that worked for Marvel. It's great for the MCU. DC has a lot of characters. Okay? I have a lot of characters, and I know what I am saying is shocking a lot of you Marvel fans to the core. That's because I keep running into Marvel fans who have no earthly idea what the history of DC Comics is, let alone how many characters we're talking about. There are a lot of characters in DC. It just seems like Warner Brothers gets stuck on certain characters, and they keep just recycling through the same ones. There have been at least 2 TV series that have been focused around both Legion of Superheroes and the Teen Titans. And let me just say, some of you X-Men fans can understand what I'm about to say, but you're not even getting 1/6 of the number of characters that exist. And for whatever reason, when it comes to the Titans, it seems like Warner Brothers only wants to do the 80s versions of the characters and not the 60s version or the 70s version along with the 80s version. You know, there are at least two different iterations, I should say, of the Titans that just by, sheer number of members makes it one of the biggest groups in comics. Unfortunately, they only want to talk about, they want to talk about Starfire, and they want to talk about Raven and Cyborg. And so, they kind of conveniently leave out Aqualad, Speedy, Kid Flash. At least with the Titans television series, you at least had, you had Wonder Girl, Donna Troya, whichever name she wants to go by that day. But you rarely get anything like original Batgirl meeting Barbara Gordon. For those of you out there that still haven't figured this one out, a lot of comic book shop owners can tell what kind of a comic book fan. If you talk about asking, the question, who was the first Batgirl, and you say Barbara Gordon, you've already failed the test. That's more of a Hollywood thing than it is a comic book thing. Anyway, I say all that to say this. Usually when I'm out and about and I meet someone that's a fan of the show, I will usually get asked about what I think about the comic book films. Eventually, I'll just get around to saying things like, there are comic books that I would like to see adapted that I think Hollywood should think about. And given the fact that since 2016, it seems like a lot of Hollywood seems to be, in certain instances, thinking about DEI or other things related to that. In thinking about it, I just came up with a list of about 5 that I think would be very well done if someone that actually were a fan of those particular IPs were to be in charge of them, and Hollywood would either take a chance on them, either films or television shows. And so, wait a minute. Thank you, Mrs. A. Yeah, comics is how we met. Let's see. Titans had the Garth Aqualad, but he was killed in a flashback. Yeah, I found that convenient. They went ahead and killed him off. Garth is a really cool character. Anyway, let me just get to my list, my top 5 list of what I think should be 5 comics that I think Hollywood studios should consider for either a film or television series. These 5, I've tried to be different because I'm not picking from DC or Marvel. Okay, these are independent, and for me, they represent a really nice slice of what is out there. And hopefully with my list today, if I discuss something or talk about something that you're interested in, hopefully it will at least inspire you to go out and look some of these up and decide for yourself. Mephisto, hey, morning. But I just hope that really, when it comes down to it, that this could be something that you just really get have a lot of fun with. So let's get to the list. So today at number 5. This is something that this is one that I am really surprised that no studio has ever really taken a chance on. I mean, it's ripe and ready to go. If there is one comic that I thought just says it's just ready to be adapted, it would have to be Love and Rockets by the Hernandez brothers. And again, this is not a superhero thing. This is a comic that I think is by every definition a classic. I first remember seeing this book and just asking myself, wow, this is just different. The popularity of the book was such that I am surprised just nobody decided to bite the bullet and do it. This would be so different than anything you've ever seen before, and it's really meant to be. Why is my computer acting so funky now? I mean, one moment I was dealing with the screen, next moment everything just disappeared for a moment. Has that happened to you?
Yeah,
What is going on?
that's the magic of technology.
Oh, we're calling that magic now. Okay. I call that very annoying. Okay. Anyway,
We have Gary in the chat.
hello, Gary.
Look who's talking.
What the? Thank you very much for posting that, and thank you, Gary, for the boomers comment. But wow, you got to be kidding me. Okay. Anyway, Love and Rockets, great example of 80s comic books. Hey, Vin Zinger. You didn't miss too much. Anyway, Love and Rockets is remembered as one of the really big alternative comics of the 1980s. And the subject matter is not something that it's not something that if you're used to reading about, a god of thunder or a flying man from Krypton, this is well outside of that. This does not deal with that at all. It is about a family. It is about people, really, more than anything else. And the ups and downs and trials and tribulations of just being a person. Now, this deals with people in the Latino community. And given what we've gone through in Hollywood over the last few years, I still find it a mystery that no one has come through to try to adapt this. For all of those people that want to change the way we talk about it and come up with terms like Latinx, why no one has attempted to adapt Love and Rockets is an embarrassment. And for all of those out there who think that comics is nothing but superheroes and stuff, you really need to check out Love and Rockets. And I'm thinking they are either nearing or right at 40 years of this particular publication, if I remember correctly. But it is said that it not only ushered in a new age of independent comics, but it also broke ground with stories featuring marginalized voices and characters from the LGBTQ and Latinx community. And this is back in the 80s. You know, it is also considered to be a blueprint for the mini boom of alternate comics for adults in the 80s and 90s. I mean, for my money, if you are going to put together a Mount Rushmore of independent comics, Love and Rockets deserves to be on it. You know, to do this for as long as they have done this with the characters that they have, I have to give it up to these. I have to give it up to the Hernandez brothers. I think you should be able to buy collections of what they have for Love and Rockets. But I also just say that to say this. You know, all the Hollywood types out there who want to, you know, BMC this whole issue. If you're doing a lot of moaning about it and you've made no move to try to adapt Love and Rockets and bring it to life, you need to just shut the blank up. Seriously. And I know there's probably a few of them out there that have tried something, but the fact that none of them out there have managed to do anything, and I guarantee you, if they turned it into a movie, I could definitely see this being nominated for a couple of Academy Awards. So, Love and Rockets, everybody.
You know, and I had to drop in because you don't read the fucking comments, Keith.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I throw digs at you and you don't fucking read them, and it irritates me.
Well, part of it is the fact that my screen goes down for a moment, you know.
Well, that's what I wrote right there. There you go.
Oh, yeah, I'm still awake.
I also wanted to point out Fantagraphic was a Seattle-based publisher. I got to know these guys, and they were the first ones I ever approached about doing comics.
Mm-hmm.
They did not dig me.
Wow.
They didn't like me being military. I wasn't even conservative really back then. I was really mostly just a veteran. You know, I was serving active duty, and they just didn't like me. And everything I brought to them, they rejected just without even really looking at it.
Yeah.
And it broke my heart because I really liked their comics.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
But they're run by a cesspool of fucking lefties. Not liberals, fucking lefties. And so eventually I caught on to what their niche was. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're not going to dig guys like me. So, oh, well, that's sad.
Yeah.
But I liked Love and Rockets. I read that when I was in the Army. And I thought it was a really good comic book.
What was it about Love and Rockets that really just attracted you? Was it the fact that it was
number one, I love the way it was drawn.
Yeah.
It had that classic feel to it in the way the artwork was done. I am a big fan of less hatching and more solid darks for shading. And, you know, that's because I like Frank Miller and Mike Mignola. They were my two favorite comic artists in the 80s. And this fell right into that category. And I love the way, again, drawing females, because it was something I wasn't really interested in doing much. As an adult, I wanted to tell stories, military stories. So, but I love the way it was drawn. I like the way it was written. It was just real world. It was just very grounded in its storytelling.
Mm-hmm. That's what I loved about it.
And it was talking about that scene up there in Seattle too. And I was part of that scene. I used to go to the punk bar, you know. Half the time it was closed because it was been raided by the police for drugs. I managed to get lucky and not go there when the raids would happen, because I'm like going, oh man, I don't do drugs, and that would look bad on my record with the military. So I was lucky in many ways. I'm trying to remember the name of that place. I remember my favorite band though was this band called Shark Chum. It was a punk band that played there. Wow. It was downtown Seattle, right near the ports. The nice little digs. I loved it, man. And this was the kind of rock, you know, punk, you know, moving from punk to the what was it called in the 90s? It got popular. Grunge. Thank you. There's this punk movement that was being overshadowed there in the early 90s by the grunge movement. And this felt more punk to me. And I like that.
That's fantastic, man. Then again, I'm not surprised you met the Hernandezes. So,
yeah, I talked to everybody over there at Fantagraphic. I think they're really nice people. And it kind of hurt that they didn't dig me, you know, because I thought, you know, I always thought, like, I'm a really personable person. You know, I'm friendly. I don't understand what you dislike about me. It's just over your personal politics that you don't like me. That's a weird thing to hate somebody over.
It is. It is.
And like I said, at that time, I was more liberal than I was anything.
Yeah.
So, hi, Penny. Anyway, I'm going to get the fuck out of here. Okay. I just wanted to remind you to read your fucking comments, especially if I say something, because I'm going to throw shade at you.
I've come to expect it. It's good hearing from you, buddy.
You too, buddy. I'll get the hell out of here. I think I'm going to go lie down for a little bit before Anima gets off work.
Okay.
I'll talk to you guys later. Martin, are you going to say hi to me at all?
No.
Fine. Fuck you then. Boomer. You have more boomer moments than me, man. Just so you know. People have commented on it. It's like, man, Martin does have a lot more boomer moments than Gary. It's not working. Oh, wow. Wonder why. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good day, man. Enjoy the rest of the show, guys.
See ya.
Thanks, Gary.
Bye.
Well, leave it to Gary to come in and show he's got a connection. Then again, that's the reason why he is who he is, and I am who I am. I really didn't go very many places growing up, but impressed. Loving Rockets, Fantagraphics, that entire scene. And if for anything else, if one of you out there watching, listening, is someone that works at one of these studios, you need to somehow get on it and get this made, get this adapted. Because it seriously is embarrassing that we could go through an entire decade or more of comic book movies and there is no Love and Rockets film or television series. Just saying. Anyway, Love and Rockets is number 5. Number 4. I remember trying to find something to introduce to my daughter, who was I think she was in high school at the time. And I remember happening upon one of these books I just thought to myself, you know what? I'll just go ahead and suggest she reads this. Yeah. Number 4, Strangers in Paradise by Terry Moore. You know, I gotta say, the thing about Strangers in Paradise that I can definitely say is that it just seems like, man, and I mean this in a good way. This is Love and Rockets had a certain, it did. It had a major punk vibe to it, right? Strangers in Paradise, not so much. This is definitely something that I'm surprised that no studio has ever really tried to take on. I think I may have seen a few people try to make, their own little personal short films as they have attempted to adapt Strangers in Paradise. But like with Love and Rockets, the fan base for Strangers in Paradise is strong. Not as many as a lot of others out there, but it is strong. And there's a reason for that. The combination of solid stories, characters that you can care about, and just the incredible artwork. Again, this is another book that I hadn't really thought about this. So Gary coming on kind of pointed this out, but this is another book where it's an artist that seems to really favor the female form. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But definitely something that, at least on a subconscious level, I seem to really, dig. So if you want me to be into your book, just feature a lot of women in it. Anyway, I personally believe that again, what Terry Moore was able to do with Strangers in Paradise is create characters and stories that really just they just really become a part of who you are. And in many ways, reading Strangers in Paradise is like reading a really good novel. These characters become a part of who you are, and you grow and love and desire and laugh and cry with these characters. I'm telling you, for those of you who are Strangers in Paradise fans, I don't know how you guys have done this. I mean, seriously, how you've made it through a lot of what we've been through with Hollywood, and why you guys haven't banded together to get a Strangers in Paradise movie made. This would be something that could really become very popular, very successful. Probably more so as a television series, but definitely as a movie. Let's see. Yeah, Mrs. A. Yeah, she's got behind a little bit. Yeah. Love. Seriously, there people who have read this and are fans of it are in. They are just in. Strangers in Paradise, Van Zinger. I think there is multiple volumes, and this is a picture of the cover of volume 1. But I think there's multiple volumes of Strangers in Paradise. I think if there were anyone from this list that I am the most surprised hasn't become a television series or a movie, this is the one. This is the one. I would have thought that this, there's nobody that flies in here. There's no one that turns invisible. There's no one that no superpowers, no capes, no nothing. This is about people. In fact, in some ways, you could say it's a nice cross between it's a nice cross. It's kind of like a slice of life, sort of kind of like Friends, but also crossed with the L word a little bit, and shows like that. It's just meant to just be about people, period. And man, Hollywood, you guys are you're not on it. You're not on it at all. And you are missing out. Strangers in Paradise definitely deserves, for those of you who have never picked it up, I think do yourself a favor, check it out. Check out the artwork of Terry Moore. I just think that you can't go wrong just trying to be a little bit different, especially in the world of comics. Yeah, it's just good stuff. And go through and check out just the covers of Terry Moore's comics for Strangers in Paradise. I mean, you can't stop looking at this. You just can't. And I think one last thing before I move on. I think the ultimate sign that you have created something of great value is when, I have met a lot of people who would swear that these characters are real to them. You get caught up in this story and you want, you desperately believe that these characters are real. If there was any one thing that I think makes anyone hesitate a little bit in trying to adapt this, is the fact that, you got to go out and try to find actors and actresses who could play these parts. So on that end, yeah, good luck to you. Wow. Anyway, there you go. Strangers in Paradise. Terry Moore, good on you. Good on you. Great job with this. And it's number 4 in my list of books that I am really surprised that Hollywood has just not really done anything with. But they should. Now, let me go to... let me at least get to one of my books that I put on my list of honorable mentions, because it is like that. I came up with a nice list of books, and I only wanted to do 5. So there are a few books that didn't make it. They almost didn't quite make it. the first of these is Cadillacs and Dinosaurs by Mark Schultz. Let me just say this. When I first ran across this book, I got to say, Mark Schultz is an incredible artist. So to be able to draw what he had done, I think it was issue like 2 or 3. And I had never seen anything like this. You know, I thought it was like, I know it eventually became a video game, but when I first saw the comic, I actually just thought, wow, this is a nice little mashup here. And wow, you know, it is, in some ways, it is part and I was going to say Fast and Furious, but it's more like if you took Fast and Furious, combined it with Mad Max and Jurassic Park and a little bit of Thundar the Barbarian. I think that's the best way that I could explain it to someone who has never read it before. But I gotta say, again, this is another comic that is very distinct artwork. And once you see it, once you get into it, it is really just wow. Now, I will say this. Out of everything on the other reason why this wound up on my honorable mentions list is this actually was turned into an animated Saturday morning series in the 90s. And so it really couldn't go on my list because Hollywood's already taken a run at it. But I'm going to tell you right now, given where we are, our level of technology, we could easily see this done as a major motion picture and really just do something cool and different with Cadillacs and Dinosaurs or Xenozoic Tales, you know, which is the other real name for it. But for those of you who don't mind taking a little bit of a trip, you know, you could, once you're done with this show, you can go track it down. You can track down some of the episodes of the animated Saturday morning cartoon, which was very well done. The artwork for the animated cartoon series was also really, really well done. And I think it was on CBS. I think it only got like one season. But good on its creator, Mark Schultz, for putting two things that I didn't think could go together, which are Cadillacs and dinosaurs. And it really is a futuristic story to the point that, you know, Earth has already been through a thing, a huge cataclysm, and to the point where dinosaurs have come back to Earth. Mankind is no longer the dominant species, but you do have people that have all these, you know, one of the few things still running in the far distant future are Cadillacs, and it's a group of people that, especially one character who has an affinity for these vehicles, and is able to fix and keep them running. And it's just a nice little cross section there. Animated series for Saturday morning, a video game. I think if you've never heard of Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, you should check it out. But it's an honorable mention. Okay. And again, you know, we've had everything else. What would be so bad about a live action Cadillacs and Dinosaurs? So that's my thing. What about you, Martin? Have you ever heard of Cadillacs and Dinosaurs?
No, I can say I have.
Well, the animated series, I think, was brought to life in 1993. So I think the original comic, which was called Xenozoic Tales, ran from 87 until 96. So wow. Anyway, yeah, there's nothing like this. And for those of you out there that are looking for something a little bit different, hopefully I've introduced you to something that is kind of different. Although once you get into it, you'll see what I see and begin to ask the question, how come no studio has wanted to take this up? I mean, this would make a really good TV series too, but I would rather see a movie. That way they can go all out on the visual effects. So anyway, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, the first of my honorable mentions on this list. So what do you think so far, Martin, of what has been revealed up to this point?
I know nothing of it. It's the first
None of
time
these?
I hear.
You,
Yeah.
You've
It's the
never
first
heard
time
of it?
I hear of or about all these titles. It's-
So
Again, I'm
I'm-
going to school with kids.
I have surprised Martin. Wow. Well, let's see. Hold on. Mephisto's Gary Neurotic said it a while ago. Hollywood is where trendy things go to die. Yeah, he's right. But the other reason why I'm doing this is to prove a point, which is, I think by now, and hopefully it'll be even more apparent by the time I'm finished. A lot of people who were, Pop Culture Republic, hello. A lot of people who were talking as if they are hoping to accomplish something, improve conditions for people of a particular background or sexual orientation. A lot of that was just talk. I need you to understand something. Personally, I'm not against any of that. But a lot of these ideas predate a lot of this stuff happening in Hollywood. And if you truly are for the things that you say that you are, if you're one of those people, the very fact that none of these have come close, it seems like, to being turned into a film or television series, it says a lot. It really does say a lot. I'm just, hopefully I can present this to get some of you out there to just think, just a little bit. And hopefully introduce you to something that you might be interested in, which is really, my main purpose of being a part of all this. taking everybody to school, just like I'm doing with Martin. Well, let's get back to the main list here. So we will go to. Okay. So right now we're down to a number 3. Now, I gotta say, this particular comic is something that has a very unique look. That I always said to myself, this would be fantastic. This would just be amazing to look at on the big screen. But so far, I don't know if anybody that's really taken a run at this. I think for a while it was published by Image, but anyway, it's Jeff Smith's. Well, no, I can't say it like that. It's a comic book called Bone, Bone, and basically it's a fantasy comedy horror comic. I think told over 55 issues. While there are some spin-offs and standalone stories, the story pretty much plays itself out over 55 issues. And
Hello?
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you know, I think it started in 1991 and ran until 2004. And for a while, I think it eventually morphed into something that was a series that young people could read. Although I think, according to its creator, Jeff Smith, it didn't start out that way. And the way it's listed is it's really a story about the Bone Cousins. They're kind of white skin cartoon humanoids, and you have Phone Bone, Phone Bone, wealthy and self-serving Phonicipal Phony Bone, and the simple-minded Smiley Bone. And basically it's their adventures and way of doing things. And trust me, when you see what this looks like, part of it is very reminiscent of a lot of the Donald Duck comics that Disney put out. But I mean, this is different, you know. I have to give it up to I have to give it up to Jeff Smith and creating something that first and foremost has a unique look to it is difficult. But when you hit it out of the park, hey, you know, and I think if I remember correctly, numerous awards, including 10 Eisner Awards and 11 Harvey Awards for Bone. So that is very well done. Jeez. So give this one a shot. And again, I am surprised that Hollywood hasn't done anything with this. This seems to be just a lot of fun. Like I said, I remember coming across these books. You know, I was a little old for them when they hit, but definitely over the years, I can at least respect just the look of the books, the, again, dedicated fan base, and the fact that, you know, when you are able to win the kinds of awards this book has won, which is another reason why I have to shake my head and just say I'm really surprised Hollywood hasn't done anything. But when you can win 10 Eisner Awards and 11 Harvey Awards, wow. So, yeah. Give Bone a shot. For those of you out there who have never read it, give Bone a shot. Let's see. Pop Culture Republic says early Valiant comics from 90 to 92 would be great for adapting, but I wouldn't want current Hollywood to even touch them. They have already had a shot at one of the Valiant books, Bloodshot. You're right. You're right. Yeah, it is difficult, given the way everything is. Although something tells me that the way Hollywood has been these last few years will not be much of a problem for very much longer, which is, in my opinion, nothing but a good thing. We could start cleaning out some of this and getting back to creating stuff that everyone can enjoy, which is really what this show is dedicated to, which is just, you know, having everybody enjoy it, having fun, just talking about really cool stuff. Oh, Penny is leaving. Have a good day, Penny.
Bye, Penny. Good day.
Okay. So I have to let's see. This then gets me to the next book. That would be, and my screen goes down again.
Oh,
What is going on? I apologize, everybody. Okay. And are we good? Come on. Such is the way things are when you're doing it live. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Number 2 on my list. I gotta say, I am really, really surprised that Saga from Brian K. Vaughan, illustrated by Fiona Staples. I am really surprised that when Amazon was looking around for something to turn into ongoing television series and or films or whatever, that they never approached Brian K. Vaughan about doing, about adapting what he had. I mean, it is one of the most original looking comics, period. And the character arcs, oh wow, it's just let's see, how should I put this? Okay, writer Brian K. Vaughan conceived Saga in his childhood, calling it a fictional universe that he created when he was bored in math class, and he just kept building it. And so, he says his influences were Star Wars, Flash Gordon, children's books. He also invoked the awe and wonder of first seeing the Silver Surfer, which seemed an incredible and different concept to him. So it was not until his wife became pregnant with their second daughter, however, that he conceived of the protagonists, the winged Alana and the horned Marco, two lovers from warring extraterrestrial races who struggle to survive with their own newborn daughter, Hazel, who occasionally narrates the scenes. This is really an incredible book with a very original take on creating an environment, really an entire galaxy's worth of characters and story possibilities. What has been done with this book alone, it's just criminal that no studio has attempted to try to do anything with this. If you're looking for something truly different, and when I say different, I mean different on the level of something like The Expanse, different, but mixed with, say, I don't know, it would be like Star Wars and a little bit of Star Trek, but I mean, this is Saga, is what it is, and it's huge. But it's not about the pew 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 pew. It's all about the heart. It's all about family. So, yeah, this is I think the way that it's been described was Star Wars meets a Game of Thrones. Evocative of both science fiction and fantasy epics such as Lord of the Rings, as well as classics like Romeo and Juliet. Vaughn's first creator-owned work to be published through Image Comics, and it's the first time he employs narration in his comics writing. And Vaughan indicated the entire series will span 108 issues or chapters. So what do you think, Martin?
I'm seeing this art, and there's a recent show that reminds me of this. It's called, oh my God, I cannot, Carnival Row with Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, I remember those. I remember that show, I should say. Yeah.
But it's, of course, the thing is, it only reminds me visually. I know nothing about the story or stories in Saga, so I couldn't say that if is in any measure something akin to this.
Okay. It's very different.
Okay.
but I personally think it is worth your time. And again, like with a lot of things, my advice to anyone, just try the first issue. That's all I can say. I mean, I know I like it, but I tell anyone, just try the first issue. Especially with Saga, just try that first issue. I think you'll get hooked. So,
Okay. I'll take it into consideration. Add it to my to-do list.
just be glad I'm not unveiling toys today, because I could do
Oh,
something. I could do something. I'm telling you, I could do something.
oh, just do it, man. Do it. If we had, if after this review we had time, we can always go there.
Okay, so my next honorable mention, definitely something that I looked and found this, and I gotta say, after reading the first book, I was captivated. I it's the best way to put this. This is definitely one that I would love to see as a movie. Unfortunately, someone's already gotten the rights to this. Now, whether or not they're going to turn this into anything remains to be seen. But Netflix already has the rights to this. And they have had the rights for this for quite a while. And they have yet to do anything with it, which I still can't figure that one out. You know, I read this book, and it was definitely something that again was different, but considering who wrote it, who was responsible for it, I can't say I was surprised. The comic is called Prodigy, and it's a comic book from Mark Miller, and I'm gonna mess up this guy's name, Raphael Albuquerque, who respectively write and illustrate the first volume and published by Image Comics.
Well, you got 80% then. Is Raphael.
Thank you.
So you didn't butcher it.
Raphael Albuquerque, or Albuquerque. Yeah, I can't pronounce his last name. I can't pronounce his last name, but I will say this: anyone out there that wants to see a something with a black lead in it, strong black character, here you go. Mark Miller did it. He wrote it, and Edison Crane is just kick A. An incredible character, and always impeccably dressed. He's just a bad A. I mean, just an incredible character. I cannot think of too many actors who would pass up the opportunity to play this character. But like I said before, because of the deal that Mark Miller made with Netflix, this is one of the ideas that is part of that deal. So, if you're an actor out there and you happen to see this or hear this and you pick this book up, you're going to have to basically get past the fact that you'll be dealing with Netflix to get this done. But again, I like it. I like what the story is. The first book, the first story in the series is called The Evil Earth. And tagline, I think the basic of that story was that Edison Crane isn't content being the world's smartest man and most successful businessman. His brilliant mind needs to be constantly challenged. He's a Nobel Prize winning scientist, a genius composer, an Olympic athlete, and an expert in the occult. And now international governments are calling on him to fix problems they just can't handle. Wow. And so Edison Crane, as I said, was just one of these characters that, the dude's just a bad A. And when you look at him on the cover of the first issue, yeah. If Buckaroo Banzai were a black man in a well-tailored suit and had a touch of Sherlock Holmes and few other things within him, that's Prodigy. So, what do you think, Martin?
I'm curious.
You are.
Yeah, but I think that okay, it's a prodigy. Of course, it's a prodigy. But man, I think they overdid it.
Really?
Yeah, there's the guy is flawless. So I got his two.
Well, he's not completely flawless. I mean, he's someone who is able to take care of himself, but he's not flawless. I mean,
No, he's only perfect in everything he does, but okay.
well, it's a different kind of story here.
Now, yeah, it's what I find most curious is why has Netflix not done something
Right?
yet?
I mean,
You think it may have to be because the Star Trek Prodigy because they don't want to cause confusion with the name? No.
I think there's something else. I couldn't tell you what that is, but considering how much money was in that deal, I would have expected Netflix to just go ahead and start work on it, so. Yeah.
we need to ask the Shadow what is happening in Netflix mind.
Well, I mean, yeah, there are times when I'm like, oh yeah, okay, this is what they're doing. I don't know, but that also, again, that brings me to why I am doing this. Nobody really knows. And given some of the people that work for Netflix, one would have thought that this would have been a project that they would have immediately greenlit. And they haven't. It's enough to make you just say, And it should. You have people that are out there that have been screaming about this, that, the other And yeah, I just don't get it. Anyway, I like it. I like it. I like the story. It's not as it's not really tongue in cheek the way that Mantis was. This is a little more on the serious side. So, yeah. So yeah,
Yes, I think we have a. Wait, how many honorary mentions do you have? Because we have done two.
Let's see. Honorable mentions. We have one more, although there is another one that I'm thinking about adding. But of the ones that I had originally scheduled to talk about, there's at least one more in my honorable mentions. And then we still have the top book on my I still got one more book.
Okay. After your honorable mention, I'd like to share something that Joe's atmosphere sent me.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but let's go with the honorable mention.
Okay. Let's see. Before we finish off the list of my top 5 books, I do have one more additional honorable mention. Okay. Now, this one, I have, I know there have been several announcements about doing this. The thing is, nothing has ever happened. Okay. The artwork is good. There's a lot of great tongue-in-cheek humor, especially for those of us that are James Bond fans of the films of Sean Connery. But so far, nothing has. Yeah. Anyway, it's a really fun book, and it's called Danger Girl.
Oh,
that
I know.
That you? Okay.
So at least, hey, one.
One, you got one. Well, I wish the series had gone on a little longer. I love all these characters, and I like I just like I just like all of it. J. Scott Campbell did a fantastic job with this, and yeah. So let's see. Yeah. Anyway, Danger Girl. Originally published by Image Comics, IDW publisher. The original miniseries followed followed Abby Chase, who is the champion marksman and a virtuoso of languages, scholar of world history, heart-stopping femme fatale. And basically spent a lot of her life as a loner. And she's a team player and a natural leader. Sydney Savage, the sassy and vivacious Danger Girl, who fittingly originates from the picturesque continent of Austria, or Australia, I should say. Wow, why did I say Austria? Anyway, though often reprimanded for her wild and unorthodox ways, Sydney, more often than not, justifies her lawless techniques. More than any of the other Danger Girls, Sydney takes frequent advantage of her good looks. Deploying. Anyway,
Hey, we have the one and only Das Wolfen.
hey, buddy. Now, if I remember, I think Das Wolfen may have actually read some of these like I had. Because I remember back in the 90s when Danger Girl came out, it just sort of exploded on the scene. And after, the initial first 3 issues, I think everybody was just like, wow, what is this? And I would have thought just based on the original first 3 issues, they could have gotten some kind of a deal from somebody. Real Popcorn Geek says I can get behind this series.
I wonder why.
Let's see. What's the other character related to Danger Girl? Deuce, a former British Secret Service agent who was lured away from retirement when invited to fashion and oversee the world's first all-female espionage network, a secret organization that would adopt the code name Danger Girl. His true name was never revealed throughout the series, but speculation always led the reader to believe he's Can you think of it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, you're not actually looking at a pic. Okay, I thought you would have. Okay. He his true name was never revealed throughout the series, but speculation always led the reader to believe he's James Bond, as he makes a strong resemblance to Sean Connery's incarnation of the cult classic secret agent. Silicon Valerie, a teenager who graduated top of her class at Oxford years before she could even obtain a valid driver's license. Though Valerie could have easily secured a safe and lucrative career in the field of communications technology, her love of danger led to a chance encounter with Deuce, who welcomed her into his employ as a danger girl in training. Generally, Barracuda, a handsome CIA agent with a large ego and sex drive to match. He collaborates with the Danger Girls in various missions. They seem to enjoy taking sexual pot shots at each other. He has a love-hate relationship with Sydney Savage. Secret Agent Zero, a master of disguise and spy of unknown origin. Besides being the only Hammer agent who has ever defected and lived to tell about it, no one knows what he looks like beneath his mysterious mask. But he appears to have a connection with Abby Chase. He could possibly be her missing and presumed dead father. He does keep a photo of Abby taken during her childhood with him. It is also thought that he is originally Diabolique himself. But any reference to his own personal past was never mentioned. Sonia Savage, the sister of Sydney Savage, who is one of the original members of Danger Girl. Sonia received her training from the Australian secret agency ASIS, which is secretly in the employ of Veronica Fox, who does not trust the Danger Girl team to retrieve the artifact that she desires. Sonia works alongside the team, but at the end of the mission decides to stay on as a third team.
By Das, and yes, let's talk about Saga. Was that number what? 3. What is number 3, right?
Yes. Hey, big man. Talk to you later, buddy. Pop Culture Republic. I'm aware of Danger Girl. Never checked any of it out, but have seen the occasional cosplay at some fan conventions I've been to. Danger Girl was the truth, man. I'm not saying the book could have been, the greatest book of all time, but it was a lot of fun. It did exactly what it was meant to do, which is just be a lot of fun. And if you happen to understand some of the pop culture references in a lot of the books, especially if you're a fan of spy comics or, TV or film shows or whatever. Anyway. Wow. What is this? Okay, that'll wait until later.
Okay. Wait. I almost forgot. When we started the show
Mhm.
and Joe's atmosphere, he mentioned some of the indie comics that he liked, and he sent this to me on um, social media. Ah, there you have it, Stabby Bunny.
Love it. Thank you very much, Joe.
I need to know what this thing is about.
Well, then it's done its job if you really feel the need that you have to know.
Yeah, you see this company, you ask yourself, what is this? What is happening?
Wow. Okay. Anyway, Danger Girl, great show. I mean, great book. I wish it were a TV show or a movie. Did become a video game, published through THQ, and was released on the Sony PlayStation back in 2000. I envy those of you who decide to take a chance and check out Danger Girl for the first time. Yeah, you are about to become big J. Scott Campbell fans. So have fun with it. And if you're a fan of spy films and or the early Bond films with Sean Connery, yeah, have fun with all of this. So. Anyway, if I can just get this over to get my last. Technology, kids. 1, 2, 3, 1. There we go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to reach the top of the list here. This is my number 1. Now, my twin brother was a big fan of this one. And I got to say, I liked it too. I think if I remember correctly, we were going to get a television version of this. Yeah. Okay. Basically, at the top of my list is Matt Wagner's Grendel. Hunter Rose. Gosh, this is just Oh, it's a kick butt gentleman thief who wears this incredible costume, and he can get anywhere he wants. He can go anywhere he wants. He can. You never really want to be between Grendel and his goal. He will take you down in whatever way he sees fit. And yeah, it's Grendel. It's Matt Wagner, and his work is just incredible. I will say that let's see, this started in 1982, and this is one of the comics from Comico Company, and then it was later moved to Dark Horse. And I think, if anything, Matt Wagner is just one of those artists that it was able to infuse through his artwork, was able to create a character that is just original and fun to look at. I'd have to say that. And in 2009, Hunter Rose, which is Grendel's real name, was ranked as IGN's 88th greatest villain of all time. That's the other thing about it. He's not really a hero, he's a villain. But I mean, it's fun. This is a fun character. So, yeah. I liked it. I liked it a lot. My brother was a even bigger fan than me. So had they made a movie, I think he would have lost his ever-loving mind. I've been thrown off because it looks like they actually did have something going on. Hold on. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Really? Batman Grendel crossovers?
I'm just surprised that I'm just now finding this part out of it. Basically, what had happened was it looks like the show, there was going to be a television show. They casted everything and everybody. And, here it is. Yeah. Netflix shoots entire season of new show, then cancels it. They canceled the entire thing. September 28th of 2022, Netflix scrapped their upcoming series Grendel, despite having already shot the entire season.
What?
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Well, okay.
Yes. If they had that much money, okay.
Thing is, I mean, okay, but you haven't done anything with it. You've done nothing at all with any of this. Oh well.
Yeah, Shanatsky. You're not alone, Shanatsky.
I don't hate Netflix. I reserve that for Amazon.
Oh, no. Amazon is on another level. They have a separate hell just for them.
Wow. True. I got a Pop Culture Republic. You are right about that. But you also have to balance it out with the fact when they messed up, they corrected it with One Piece. Meanwhile, we're still waiting for Amazon to show some sign that they realize they've gone off the rails and are looking to atone. And so far, they've yet to do anything that shows that they feel bad about what they've done to Tolkien. So, of course, those of you who are fans of Midnight's Edge and WDW Pro and Valiant Renegade, I think you also know about the whole why of what they are doing with Rings of Discovery. Power. I'm sorry, Rings of Power. And the fact that a certain person who decided to head up the effort to do that only did it because they got rid of another TV show that was looking like it was actually going to be kick butt, which is they were originally going to have a Conan television series. And because of the strict legal paperwork regarding the character and how it's handled, the adaptation of Conan as a television series was going to be faithful to the books. And a certain person that had just gotten hired to help Amazon create TV shows decided that that was not something that the Amazon audience needed to see.
Yes, it was too toxic.
Yeah, that's the word. That's the word.
I mean, it's a freaking barbarian.
So yeah, I will continue to make fun of Rings of Power because that was just a dumb move. It's a dumb move on Amazon's part to do that.
You think?
Yeah. Yeah. That just messed me up. Anyway. Wow. Okay, I'm still kind of in shock about the whole Netflix thing. Yeah. Wow. Live on air. I am just.
There's still hope. There's still hope.
I don't know.
Oh well, at least they haven't written it down as a tax
write-off. Yeah, they haven't willowed it yet.
Yeah, there's a chance maybe in 25 years they made all the show.
Ouch. Okay. Yeah, 25 years. I think I got that long. Yeah. Okay.
Of course.
Wow. Netflix. Oh, guys. Anyway, so that's my list, and those are my honorable mentions. So let me go back over it for those that may have missed. At number 5, Love and Rockets by the Hernandez brothers. Number 4, Strangers in Paradise by Terry Moore. Number 3, Bone by Jeff Smith. Number 2, Saga by Brian K. Vaughan. and Fiona Staples. And number 1, wow, Grendel. I just can't believe it, Netflix. Why? Why would you do that? What? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm losing it here. Let me also go over the honorable mentions. Cadillacs and Dinosaurs by Mark Schultz. Prodigy by Mark Miller. Danger Girl by J. Scott Campbell. I don't know. I don't know sometimes. I don't know.
Maybe it's for the best. It's Netflix after all. You never know.
Wow. Anyway, I hope this was a good list. I hope it opened up a few things and got you thinking a certain way. As I said before, part of this was just a way of me kind of putting it out there that for all of the bluff and bluster we've seen coming out of Hollywood over, since at least 2017, 2016, really, that you have I mean, I don't know. All of these would make very good films and or TV shows. Some more than others, but all of them, I think, are good choices. I just, yeah. Anyway. Pop Culture Republic says, if I remember right, I want to say Matt Wagner was involved in the Netflix show of Grendel. I wonder if he can get it from them and finish production to release it. Could be wrong on that.
Maybe a fan campaign could help.
Okay. Maybe. It would have to depend on, first of all, what the real reason was for the cancellation of the show. Because I don't think even Netflix has ever really chosen to give the general public an actual reason. Personally, I think I would stick it with yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, my mind is just blown because I didn't expect that. I did not expect that Netflix would just, and the more I'm digging into this, I'm looking at it right now, I can't find any reason given as to the reason why they just decided to cut ties. That is so freaky. I mean, on the one hand, after everything we've been through with Lucasfilm, definitely the MCU, one would think there's got to be some sort of a reason attached. And I think we've kind of gotten used to stuff like that. But in this particular instance, Netflix just sort of stopped. They just stopped it. Wow. Anyway, there you go. This has been fun. It usually always is fun. Rarely do I find myself like Egon shocked nearly beyond the capacity for rational thought. Thank you, Netflix. I'm not going to let them live that down too easy. But yes, I think, I hope that one of these titles, will inspire you to at least pick up a book and at least check out one or all of these recommendations, but again, it's my love of what this is. Comics is an incredible art form, and it should definitely be something that okay. Yeah. Anyway. Pop Culture Republic. I couldn't find any reason why the show is axed either. It's like running the ball to the 1 yard line and just stopping. Right? I mean, it's just blown my mind. You had the entire show. You casted the whole thing. What is going on?
Not cast, shot. They shot the season.
Yeah, they shot the whole thing. I mean, look, for anybody out there that might think, well, what about Batgirl? Let me tell you something about Batgirl. Okay? Batgirl had a lot more work to do. But on top of that, it was a bad idea from a group of people who were in the middle of sabotaging good ideas. In my opinion, the Batgirl TV series idea never should have happened because it was a way for the Warner Brothers executives at that time, pre-Zasloff, who were basically busy trying to change DC and change the kinds of things that DC was doing.
Now it makes you think, how bad was it? Because Batwoman got 3 seasons.
Yeah.
How bad could Batgirl have been?
God, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. And that's the thing. Because I keep running into these, well, what about Batgirl? Batgirl was going to be amazing. No, you can't say that. I mean, I think the only person that was, I look at it this way. You can either take the word of the lead actress or you can take the word of Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton's like, look, man, it was just something, he was very nonchalant about it. He wasn't trying to make more of it than what there is. It's just like, he was hired to do a job and just didn't work out. There you go. That happens, Well, of course, certain projects scream to be put out of their misery. Looking right at you, Rings of Power. But anyway. Okay, I'm done with being shocked. I'm just wow, how can you do that? How can you do that, Netflix? Anyway. Calm. 3, 2, 1. Okay, everybody, back to the show. Yeah, that's our show today. And again, as I said before, I hope it's inspired you to at least check out some of my recommendations here. Maybe use that as a springboard to discover something or a title that you may never have wanted to check out before. So on behalf of myself and the main man himself, Martin, right over here, I'd like to thank everybody for having checked out the show today. And I do mean everybody, because there is no show unless we have you here with us. So, Das Wolfen, Monkey Chibis, Pop Culture Republic, because, Pop Culture Republic rocks. The Peter Venkman fansite, Shinatsky, Geary, because Geary is cool. Anyway, Ben Zinger, Andy Morrow, Mephisto, Mrs. A. We definitely gotta get together and hang out sometime. Penny Blagas, Real Popcorn Geek, and of course the main man himself, my other good friend Joe's Atmosphere. Wow. Netflix, gosh, you guys, you find new ways of surprising me and disappointing me at the same time. That's an Amazon move. Anyway, I just want to thank everybody, including you, Martin, because none of this happens without you. So
thank you.
So to everybody out there and to all those who will be checking us out in full later on, have a better day.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
Thank you.